On to stage 3. Trek Day, Valor Among Racers. Here we go. As Suzuka, right? Stage 3, a test of courage. Alright, we've arrived, but before we dive into the main races, let us test the car again. And one more small challenge before the final race of this round. Okay, so once again, 4 goals to complete, and skipping cost has been bumped up to 30 gold. Not that we will ever skip these. Win the elimination without going off track. So we're gonna be starting off with the elimination, and let's see. Here we'll go ahead with the current upgrade scheme. So no off track. And there are just 6 cars, so at least it's gonna be quicker. But yeah, I think I have enough time to catch up, right? Because that's what you'll find out very quickly. Oh, off track. Okay. Brake earlier. That's what that tells me. Ooh, we got Ferrari 296 GTB in the grid. Okay, that's an upgraded grid for sure. So competition is getting tougher. They weren't kidding. All right, and this looks like a Grand Prix circuit, maybe? I don't think it was East. I didn't see. I should probably pay attention to what the layout of the circuit we're racing this at, huh? All right, so the regular braking point. If you know what I mean by regular. If you don't, you need to go learn that in order to get better at this game. There's certain landmarks or markers that you can utilize, of course. Yeah, it's a Grand Prix circuit. So yeah, in terms of figuring out braking points for different circuits with different cars, there's kind of I at least approach it like there's a sort of a standard braking point for most cars, and then different cars. There are certain cars that push one element of the performance to extreme than the other. So there are, let's say, for example, certain cars that focus more on the top speed, right? And then generally they don't quite have enough grip to, like carry the car at their maximum speed that the car can travel at. So that means you gotta make sure you brake earlier than, let's say, more balanced, normal, let's say, cars, right? And then there are other cars that may not have the highest speed, but they got more grip than you can wave a stick at, such as the Volkswagen IDR, right? That car, like, I don't know if you ever need to step on the brake in that car when you're racing. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but point being, you can take most corners in most circuits in that car flat out. And there are a few other cars in the, let's say, Nissan fleet in the game that have a pretty high grip. So those are pretty good too, in terms of, like, pushing the braking point, if there is any braking point at all. Because, as I said, some cars don't even need to brake, or, like, you don't even need to let up on the gas, which is kind of insane. But yeah, so that's an extreme. Yeah, I mean, in a way, you don't really learn how to drive other cars in the game by getting good at those cars only. It's like, yeah, you get spoiled basically. Like, yeah. So, most Porsches, I know I've been ripping on Carrera GT in the previous video, but aside from Carrera GT, most Porsches are pretty well balanced for the most part. So I think Porsches are good brand of vehicles in the game to kind of gauge like what a standard braking points for most cars are gonna be in most circuits. I mean, there's some extremes, but I think that they strike a pretty good balance. It's almost like the game developers used Porsche as kind of a standard, and then they just kind of deviate a little bit to the one side or the other per car in comparison. That's how I look at it. So, yes, if you're new to the game, try to drive some Porsches around the game. You know, like it doesn't have to be the like top of the line Porsche, but you know, if you can get yourself, let's say a 911 RSR, doesn't matter which year, probably like older one, like 2013 or something older, because they're extremely well balanced, and they're fun to race, and they're in a lot of, or at least they used to be in a lot of different series. Older cars generally were featured in multiple events. So yeah, so there's that. And anyway, let's continue on. Enough of me yapping. We got Magnus yapping around here. How to show off. Let's see how you perform in an actual race with real competition. Calm down. Simmer down now. Okay, top 3 to qualify for the next race. It's going to be a long one, so pace yourself to reach the top. Oh yes, tension between Magnus and Champ is always entertaining. It's Magnus that brings the fun to the game. Alright, overtake any 6 opponents. Do not overtake until the end of the famous Suzuka S curves or the 7th turn from the start. Right, so you got the big curve, and then you got those like the S's, you know, like left, right. Like you start with the what? Left-hander, right-hander, left-hander, right-hander, right? So those are the that's the S's. So don't overtake until you are through that. So no overtaking at the beginning. And I guess, can you drop back and overtake the slowest cars only? I don't know. I have a feeling as soon as you overtake 6 cars, the event will be over. And that looks like a fellow Aston Martin. Maybe V12 Vantage? Right, so if you want to count the curves, so here's one. Right, and then we start the S's. So here's the left-hander, so that's a curve 2, right-hander, curve 3, and back to the left-hander, 4, and 5. I guess that's first one is like maybe 2 combined. So that should be it, and now we're free to overtake. I'm trying to remember if they said anything about going off track. Well, I'll try not to go off track. And I don't know, I only see 2 cars in front. We got a few more that we gotta overtake. So we shall see how this goes. Oh! Okay, they don't mind going off track. If I re-overtake, does that count? Oh, it does. Oh, what do you know? I guess that's all I need to do then. We'll do one of those. Overtake, let them pass, and then overtake again. Oh, okay. I guess that's what they meant by overtake any 6 cars. You can overtake the same car 6 times for all we care. This wording is a little confusing, right? Whenever they have to specify those type of requirement for a goal. Sometimes they sound a bit more convoluted than what's necessary, but oh well. So 911 Turbo S, all right, that's a decent Porsche. Yeah. So yeah, good enough. So that's good enough for 2 goals. We're like at the halfway point of this event. Actually, it's gonna be like next event. No, next goal. That's gonna be more like halfway point. So, well, yeah. Goal 3, gain at least 1 place each time you cross the finish line. And be in P1 position on the last lap without going off track. So we got 2 laps. I mean, how many position can you climb when you only have 2 laps? But we have to win. But we're starting in P4. So at least 1 position, right? So we can't climb more than 1 at the... So we're starting in P4. So if we can manage to get up to P2, yeah, we can overtake Carrera GT. No problem. Alright, so... And then we just need to overtake Lewis before the second lap begins. And just make sure you don't go off track. All right. There we go. Yeah, since they said no off track, I probably should not like fly off the circuit here. Try to keep the lid on, as it were. Don't go crazy. Use a little bit more conservative braking point. But yeah, I mean, this car, my assessment so far, I mean, it doesn't really necessarily like stick out from the crowd of like some 500 plus cars we have in the game. I mean, it's a new offering, so they gotta keep things fresh, so I get it. But let's say, and the event so far has been, it's alright. It's not too bad. It's certainly more entertaining than most limited series that we have to run in the game. So I appreciate that. So in that sense, I guess that's the element of this event that makes me give it a go in terms of like, is it worth running? Yeah, I think so. It's a the challenges are interesting. They're not boring. And at least so far. And the car handling isn't so frustrating that, you want to throw your device out the window or anything like that. Don't ever do that. You might hit somebody. But anyway, point being, the cost isn't exorbitant, at least up to now. As I said, before the end of the event, I'm anticipating I'll probably have to spend 300 plus gold to meet the PR requirement, which isn't too bad, And really, the investment is in the future, like time trial competition. When we have like weekly time trial, it's nice to have a car that is better suited for the event. And the newer cars generally they try to feature, like this week, the SF90 XX Stradale is the top dog by far. I mean, my 2 other cars, featured in this week's weekly time trial are maxed out, my Stradale is nowhere near maxed out. But yeah, Ferrari still comes way out ahead. You know, like the best I was able to get with let's say like Ferrari. As much as I enjoy that car, it's not a fast one. It looks like it should go faster. It's one of those cars. Like it looks like it should go faster, like one of those Formula E cars, but it really doesn't. But at least on Mazda Ferrari, it sounds great. Those rotary engine sound is pretty awesome. So if you're a fan of that, then yes, that car is pretty cool. Yeah, Formula E, yeah, that's. I mean, I appreciate the city circuits. Speaking of, we haven't had any new events at Hong Kong circuit in a long time. Also, I guess we've had some, like a online multiplayer tournament that featured the Hong Kong circuit, but you know, it's like really rare and far in between. So that's a tough circuit, by the way. I think that's one of the more tougher Formula E circuit, which means it's gonna be just tough circuit all across. So, and not for farming, but if you're like fan of like technical racing, I think Formula E circuits are some of the best that the game has to offer, actually, especially Hong Kong. And it's cool. The cityscape is rendered beautifully. You know, so anyway, enough of me yapping. Let's continue on. Yeah, I'm going off on a tangent quite a bit here. I mean, the race itself, there isn't a whole lot to talk about, you know, so I gotta do what I gotta do. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Seems like Magnus has gotten into a crash. Oh no, really? Poor Magnus. Tailgating him almost the entire lap without damaging the car. Alright. And yeah, PR requirement has been bumped up to 59.7, so this is the end of the road for those running without any gold upgrades. So let's meet the PR requirement. Right, so we'll get both stage 2 and stage 3 upgrades on every category. So, alright. Another 60 gold on drivetrain. So technically, I mean, we're more than good to get through this stage, but you know, may as well get all of them. 50 gold for body, usually one of the cheaper categories to upgrade. Suspension, 55. And racing dollar upgrades. Suspension and exhaust, typically like almost identical. Exhaust is usually like pretty good, like per cost we get a lot of boost in PR. So I wasn't paying attention to the other categories, but I'm sure this one is no different. Alright, and brakes, the cheapest category usually, 44 gold. And we max out brakes. And then it looks like we're gonna max out the tires and wheels as well. So 50 gold and yep, 65.9, which is what's required. So get that final stage 3 tires and wheels upgrade, and that brings the total upgrade cost to 379 gold. Right? Yeah. And I think the racing dollar upgrades, they are like 1.5 million. So yeah, as I was anticipating, I said like 320-ish. So okay, 60 more, around 60 more than I was anticipating. That's what I meant by, you know, give and take a few. I guess few by that I meant like 60 gold. All right. Anyway, we're close enough. So now we got all the upgrades done that's needed for this event. So let's go ahead and complete this race to wrap up stage 3. This one we just have to tailgate Magnus the entire race, right? 74 seconds, I guess they are going by the time. So whenever we have to do tailgate, I think chase view is less than ideal. So should we try the hood view? Let's do hood view. I think this does make it easier. Because you can gauge the distance because you're not supposed to crash either. Alright. Oh no, I lost him. Come back here, Magnus. There we go. Okay, now he's stuck behind that, looks like yellow Lambo. Allows me to kind of catch up a bit. I don't know, Magnus, your car doesn't look all that damaged to me. It certainly doesn't perform like it's damaged. It's racing. Doing pretty well. Oh! Alright, does it end when we hit? Nope. Okay, so tailgating is done. What else do we need to do? Nothing else. Okay. So we'll just stay behind and enjoy the view. I like the steering wheel. The racing green. That's sharp. Very cool. Alright, so 7th place finish, and that's A-okay. No need to be an overachiever, you know? So. Alright, and once again, Hurricane back in the grid, Senna 911 Turbo S, J50, Carrera GT, and Magnus, of course, in V12 Speedster. And of course, we had the Diablo SV that helped a bit, keeping Magnus from taking off too quick. So, the usual suspects, there we go. And that will do it for the stage 3, which required not all the upgrades that I got, but you know, we needed a few of these, but I figured may as well get all the ones that's gonna be needed anyway, because at this point, if you're putting any gold onto upgrades to get past any of these stages, may as well get all of it, because it's never worth getting just partial upgrades and unable to complete the event, because then, you know, what's it good for, you know? So alright, so for the effort, we get 1,250 victory points, 10 gold, 35,000 racing dollars. So we're getting a little bit of it back. The 1,250, that's gotta get us to the next round hub rewards of 45,000 motorsport dollars. Yes? Thank you. I cannot believe you did that. Thank you. Oh. I'm not used to this grateful version of Magnus. True sportsmanship. It's definitely caught a lot of media attention. Qualifying for the next round seems a bit far-fetched now. Okay, so Natalia doing her stuff Spoke with the Federation. Due to public and media pressure, they are allowing Champ to advance to the next races, but this is his only chance. If he misses next time, it's over for him. All right. Well, story's gotta continue, right? So anyway, that'll do it for stage 3. And we'll continue on to stage 4 in the next video. So stay tuned and we'll see you there.